to talk about how these personalities are within the same person, and then also how you deal with them among couples. Bill and I had driven each other crazy. Didn't really know why we were driving each other crazy. I had even accused him of hiring somebody to spy on me to know what drove me crazy, because I didn't know that he could figure it out on his own. And I said, how much did you pay this person to figure out what drives me crazy and then for you to do that? And he said, why would I do that? You know, that's just how elaborate my brain had worked, that I couldn't figure out why he just, everything he did was very opposed to what I would have done. So to learn to know what his personality was and then know what mine, well, all of a sudden the light bulb came on and we understood why we thought differently and why we felt differently about many different topics and situations. Let's first talk about if you are, and I'm going to use, whatever term I use will be the first personality is the highest. Let's say you have a 20 and you're a 20 and an I, and then let's say your D was 10. So I would call you an ID. That means those are your two highest in that order, and the other two would not figure much into your personality. The first personality is the one, the highest number of personality is the personality that you would live in every day. Consider that like your wash and wear. Every day you're in that personality. The second personality is the personality you flip into when you're under stress, when the first personality is not working, when you just need a different tactic than what you normally do, and so you flip into that second personality to accomplish what needs to get accomplished. So that's why those two personalities, that's the two that you know the best how to accomplish life. Okay? Is that a good enough explanation?
That's very good.
Okay?
That now makes sense.
Yes, it does. So, if this person was an ID, what would they act like in like their everyday personality? What would an I act like? Let's say if you were going to the market, what would an I do? Talk. And buy. And buy, probably.
Talking very spoken.
Yeah. The I would probably be there to have a lot of fun. That yes, if they're they would finally have to get down to details. You're right. You know, they'd probably have fun for part of it, and then they're going, okay, I have to really accomplish something here. I am a D, and I want to accomplish it. So then they'd get focused, and then they'd buy their things and get their work done. But they would flip back and forth between those personalities. They would be good at haggling, and they would be good at befriending. They would learn that person's name, and the next time they came back to the market, they would know. They would call they may call them by name. It depends. Not all of them have good memories for names. Some of them are lousy with names. But if they make a concerted effort with their D, especially, they would learn to know the names.
Good salesperson.
Pardon?
Would be a good salesperson.
Yes. Yes, a very good salesperson, because they would be determined to get the sale, but they would use their I personality to really get it accomplished and to make the sale. What about an IS? This person we think is very good, especially with children. You know, they would be the teacher type that would make it fun, but the S, they wouldn't get upset if the child did something, you know, so they would be making it fun, but still creating a very safe environment for someone to learn in, and this would be good for that personality. Now, let's go to IC. How do you think an IC acts? Now, they say that this is technically an unnatural personality. That's because they're different, but I don't see that as an unnatural pairing at all.
I'll tell you why I think that makes sense. And I see, and I wants to have fun, wants to have a good time, wants to influence people. But when it gets to what we call crunch time, when all of a sudden something has to get done, then they're able to focus on very specific details. And that literally is built into us because I'm an IC. It ain't unnatural, it's perfect. But it's built in that when it has to, that then you can focus on those little details to get things done because you have your orders in a row. Let me give you an example, because I work in an emergency room. I'm probably the most fun doctor to work with in the emergency room because I like to make it all fun. And even if you're coming in with chest pain and you're close to dying, it might be fun for us. But when we have to do certain things, the nurses can always tell. All of a sudden, they will know that my whole demeanor changes. And if I even do something, because they're so used to me laughing and having a good time, if I go, let's get to work. They know immediately I've gone into my C mode, and we all have certain things we are going to do until we're out of this mess, whatever that takes. So I believe that, one of the things, while you're going through his personalities, when she first goes through them, she just does one, and we all go, oh my goodness, if that's all I am, I'm in big trouble. It doesn't matter which one you are.
Yeah.
Because you have enough weaknesses to make any of your strengths almost canceled out, and you go, my life is over. But the fact is that second one actually oftentimes fills in the holes and the weaknesses of the first one if you will allow it to. Okay? Yes, and I can be nuts and off the wall and want to do things. But when I allow my C to take control, it keeps my I from doing all the stupid things that an I wants to do. You see what I mean? And as you guys look at these more and study them more, you're going to see that, yeah, you've got a primary one and then you've got the second one, and some of them are close, and that's okay. It's still, take the top number as the number one, the second number is the number two, and you've actually got other things built into there. No one is just one of these four. You couldn't survive in this world if you were, so don't be thinking in those terms. But what you're going to want to be thinking is, what strengths do you have out of your top two? What weaknesses? Do they help you out? Or if they don't, and an IC doesn't have everything covered, can another personality then help fill in the holes? And we'll talk about that in a bit. But in all honesty, for me, that's where Rena's personality is so different that she really fills in a lot of my holes. Took me 15 years to learn that, but that's what she does. So.
Okay. We'll go through these quickly. If you were a high choleric, a D, and you were, again, except an ID, you were DI. You were highest in the D and then the I. This would also be a good salesman person, but he would probably be head. He or she would be head of the salesman or head of something because they wanted to be in charge. The DC. This one is also very good at details, would be good, definitely a person that would get details done, but they would be quite a critical person as criticism to other people. They would be, there's nothing to modulate their criticism of other people. They don't have a lot of people skills in the D or the C, so they would really give it to you with both double barrels to your head. So it would be a struggle sometimes to deal with the DC. Pardon?
Engineering.
I was going to say, that's what they'd be great at.
Yeah, and they can work alone, but they don't do that good with other people and stuff, yes. Again, they say like the DS is a conflicted personality. I know several of them. I don't know that they're terribly conflicted, and so they, I imagine the part they think is conflicted is the strongness of the D and the reticence, the holding back of the S, but I see that they can work together in a person also. Okay, in the C personality, if they were a C personality, so controlling, critical sort of, and then a D with that, this person also would want to be the head of something, but it would have to be everything would have to be perfect in the process, so probably a head of an accounting office or something like that. A C personality with an S very likely would be an under professor. Somebody wouldn't necessarily be the top person in his job, but he could be an under professor and want to teach people that way. They say that a CI is unnatural. Again, I don't necessarily always, I've seen this work out in people where the C personality is good for getting the details done, but to get life done, they'll often flip into their I personality, and then they are able to relate to other people, and they get family life done well and others. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Why would that be much more unnatural than an IC? I want you guys to start to think about this, because see, what you're going to do is you're going to, over a period of time, you know, you'll keep all of these and you'll study it, and as you start to learn yourself, but it makes complete sense to me why they say it's unnatural. Because I'm an IC. A CI, you're going to go crazy. Why?
Because you start out as a serious person. If it doesn't work, you suddenly
Right, and you want to make fun out of it, and things like that, and you tend to be more undisciplined as an I. But if your primary personality is a C, so you've got all these rules already, and a C, trust me, has a rule for everything. Now to be an I, you have to break your own rules. And that's far different than being an I and gone, okay, all this goofing off didn't work, now we have to start and we're going to follow these simple rules, but only because that's what it's going to take to get through this heart attack, and then I can go back to being an I. But a C, that's not comprehensible, that then you could switch from having all those rules that ruled your life and all of a sudden go, I don't care what. No, you can't, your brain can't do that. Even though I say a CI is unnatural, when I think back, I think that my son is really more IC, but we used to call him a CI, and he wasn't that unnatural, and I understand it.
Let's finish up with the S and the phlegmatic. They say that an SD is unnatural, and that I see, as he describes the CI as being quite unnatural. I see an SD having a harder time, because an S is wants to be laid back and not put up to criticism, but the D wants to be in charge, and so I see that as quite an unnatural personality. But some people come up with it nonetheless. The SI personality, I could see an SI also being a very good teacher, because they make things calm and laid back, but they make it fun. Or they're the good mothers of the world too. You know, they are able to relate and make stuff fun to keep life together. The SC personality is an interesting personality. These are people that are often quite fearful, often codependent. Is that a term that's relatable? Is codependent, Christine, is that a term you understand?
Yeah, of conflict.
Okay. And they would be, you know, so if someone else was being an alcoholic, the codependent wife, who is the SC, would not confront them. They would not want to change anything. They just kind of go along with a very horrible situation and stay in the same bad situation, which is, they don't have the idea to change it, unfortunately. You know, they will go along with the worst. And a lot of times they become very fearful in what life has for them. They can't see a way out of any tough situations. The question, I had somebody ask me this question and I thought about it, and they said, which personality would be more likely to be using drugs or alcohol? And as I thought about it, you know, I really think all of them have about an equal chance, you know. I think this person was looking for some sort of a vendetta against someone, but I think they, you know, all personalities have the weaknesses. Everybody would have a reason to go to the bottle or go to drugs, so I think those would all be equal. And somebody also said, asked me what personality I thought was easiest to bring to Christ, and I said, they're all difficult. The Bible is written for all personalities. None of them are easy, you know. All of them have something to overcome to allow them to see what Christ did for them. And I also had somebody ask me, they said, well then which kind of person is the biggest asset to Christianity? And I'm going, look at the Bible, all of them. All of them have their place, in their time. God used every one of them, so God can use any of our personalities to do that. To know yourself is one thing, to know your spouse is great, then to understand your children, but on a day-to-day life thing, to get to know other people, and you will, as you read and understand more about these personalities, it will come as second nature to you. Within a minute or two of talking to someone, you'll go, yes, this person is that personality, and that's probably kind of what's important to them. And so you know a little bit better how to relate to them. You know, whether the situation has to be fun, whether it has fun like an I, direct like a D, or whether it has to be very factual, like a C would want it to be, or if they just want it to be relaxed, like an S. You know, you relate to different people differently. Bill, why don't you come up and let's talk about more about personalities, if dealing with a spouse in the different personalities.